Hello everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play of The Royal Trap by Hanako Games. My name is Anna Mardal, and we are going through the Oscar playthrough, the playthrough for the ending with Prince Oscar. And last time when we left off, we had gone through chapter 4. So we're about to start up the point in the game where Madeline is locked in the dungeon and considering who her potential available allies might be. So, I mean, obviously we're going to pick Oscar because we're going through the Oscar playthrough. And everything from here on out will be new material, I believe, from my previous Gaston walkthrough. This is kind of a bridging point, kind of an obvious bridging point for different narratives. So we've seen the Gaston one, and now we're going to go through the Oscar one. So these videos are probably going to go back to being kind of longish. So I told him to stay away for his own sake. I don't know if he will listen. I want to find out what is going on, but for now, all I can do is wait. Chapter 5D, The Squire. I sit on my prison bed, absently toying with a bit of loose string. I am not being mistreated. They've even remembered to feed me. Not pastries and tiger nut milk, of course, but not pig slops either. The amenities don't go so far as to include a bath, but, well, one can't have everything. Isolation is meant to be its own form of torment. In time, it will be, I know that. For the moment, though, the solitude is peaceful. I've been kept on edge for too long, worrying about Oscar, watching those around me for signs of violence and betrayal. Now it's all out of my hands. There is a kind of freedom in that. Memories, dreams, and fantasies swirl unfettered in my mind, replaying past events and imagining how they might have turned out differently. Not to obsess about what I should have done, but things that would have been too dangerous or ridiculous to consider, and the amusing outcomes they might have provoked. What if I had attended the ball that first night? What if, as in the Cinder Girl story, some magical patron had bestowed a jeweled gown and golden slippers upon me out of nowhere? I would enter unannounced, my hair wound with pearls, my face hidden behind a mask of silk, and conversation across the room would cease as all the guests caught sight of me. Then, like a rush of waves, the whispers would begin. Perhaps they would have imagined me to be a foreign princess in disguise, or even the true Princess Cassidy, for those who believe the rumors of an impostor. Men would have lined up to seek my favor, each seeking to outdo the last with his wit and beauty. Oscar, of course, would have recognized me. Perhaps not consciously, but he would have been drawn to that mysterious woman by undeniable instinct. I would step out from my crowd of suitors, leaving them all behind, and offer him my hand. We would have danced together in the sight of all, and he would never have gone walking with Princess Cassidy and her roses, and then none of this would have happened. No, that is not a fantasy worth thinking about. Better, perhaps, to imagine that I would meet a man from a small and eccentric family, a man without sisters, whose family would agree to settle their assets upon the shoulders of a clever bride. And if that man lacked some of Oscar's charms, such would be what I deserved. Even in a magical gown, I am not a princess. Or perhaps I should take the gown and slippers and trade them to a proper princess in exchange for a better position, or sell them for coin. That's far more useful than a few fanciful moments in a ballroom. I don't need to find romance. I need a new center, a home, a piece of the future that I can build and defend for myself. Moldering here in this cell, I can almost sympathize with that page's desire to steal the royal gold and run away to make her own life. But was that really her desire? It seemed believable. A frustrated, disloyal servant lashing out against her masters and taking the opportunity she saw to benefit herself. It's no more than one might expect from a street girl with no sense of propriety, no respect for the natural order. But then we returned to the palace, and everything turned upside down. For Dolores to be preserved at my expense, she can't be a simple street girl. She must be of great importance to someone with power. Why then would she be trying to run away? Was that all a ruse? A feint to draw Prince Caleb into action? Is she a cat's paw used without her knowledge? Or a pawn in a more dangerous game, one that she would rather leave behind her? I was too hasty in blaming Dolores for my predicament. She is no innocent, but she cannot possibly be the force pulling the strings. Blast! There is so much I don't know, and it would seem that I have failed at distracting myself with simple fantasies. At least I'm not thinking about Oscar. I must be imagining that. Cuckoo, I'm not. That sounds like Oscar. But it can't be Oscar because I told him not to come here. He wouldn't, would he? He might. Just in case, I walk to the door and peer out through the bars. There's no one there. Wrong way. What? Does that mean... Oh no. I spin on my heel and stamp towards the window. Outside, through the bars, gleams a familiar shock of blonde hair. What are you doing out there? Taking an interest in my future. What? I've always been letting myself drift along and only handling my responsibilities when you told me to. I was enjoying myself too much. So now it's time for me to make my own plans. With your help and advice, of course. I see. And what plans might those be? I intend to win the hand of Princess Cassidy. Oh. This is a good thing, isn't it? You said before that you didn't want anything to do with Guelinor. Well, it's a very strange place. The people here, the king and his wisdom, and their crazy, vicious son. Clearly he hasn't forgiven Caleb for overpowering him twice. None of them can be trusted. They're scheming and treacherous, even when there's no reason to be. But Cassidy's not like that. She's a nice girl, and if I were king, I could change things here for the better. That's very sensible of you. But that doesn't explain what you're doing here now. For your wisdom and advice, of course. I have been giving you advice on that subject for quite a while. You should know how to court a princess. Actually, there are a few things that we haven't talked much about. Such as? He can't mean what I think he means. How to get past a guarded door? Cassidy is under guard? She might be. It would make sense. No, what I meant is that I am under guard. They've locked me in our rooms for my protection. If you've been locked in, how did you get out here? He holds up a hand. He's wearing one of my gloves. You climbed out the window? What were you thinking? What if you'd fallen? You could have broken your neck. You could have been... Madeline. Which one of us put the robin's nest back up in that big maple after the storm blew it down? One-handed. You like trees more than I do. I can climb. You know I can. It's dangerous. It worked, didn't it? Anyway, it wasn't that far down. I think Princess Cassidy's rooms are up in the tower. That would be harder. Not to mention that if you tried to break through her window unannounced, her guards would probably shoot you. See, that's why I need your advice. I know I probably shouldn't be out here for too long, in case someone gets suspicious. Once I'm back in our rooms, what should I do in order to get through to the princess? So, We've got a couple of options here. There's stay safe and do nothing, or send her a message. The walkthrough that I'm following has the stay safe and do nothing option being for the quote unquote normal ending with Prince Oscar. Each of the princes has a good ending, a bad ending, and an in-between ending. And this is for like the in-between ending. For both the good ending and the bad ending, we go with send her a message. The guards are holding you in protective custody, you said, because you've been officially declared innocent and the fault is mine, so they can't call you a prisoner. Right? In a sense, you're still an honored guest. That means you likely command privileges that I cannot. You may be able to make requests or send messages. That's probably the best way to contact Princess Cassidy. I could send her a poem. I know you think that's a terrible idea. Not necessarily. What? You hate my poetry. I don't think your poetry is very good. That doesn't mean I hate it, and it doesn't mean she will either. A certain amount of awkwardness can be endearing in the right circumstances. From what I've seen of Cassidy, I think she'd appreciate being complimented, even if the art was lacking. That's not fair. I can't decide whether you're picking on me or helping me. Maybe both. Whatever you do, make sure to request an answer. Flattering her isn't the most important task right now. It isn't? I don't know about you, but I haven't seen or heard from Cassidy since events took a bad turn. You think something might have happened to her? There's no way to know. Is she all right? Does she know what's been taking place? Does she agree with it? The most important thing for you right now is to establish communication of some sort. The guards may read your messages. You can't say anything suspicious. You can't ask about me. But if you request a reply, then anyone intercepting will know that you will notice if no answer arrives. Therefore, either they openly insult you, or they fabricate an answer, or they deliver your message. That makes sense. You're very clever. But you know that. I should get back, in case anyone decides to have a look inside my room. I don't know when I'll be able to return. You really shouldn't be down here. It wouldn't do your cause any favors to be caught. I don't intend to lead you out of the loop. One way or another, I will send you word. When I have something to say, that is. I don't know when that will be. It's almost like he's trying to reassure me. Something of a reversal from the usual. I understand. I'll be all right. Good. Take care of yourself, Maddie. I'll talk to you when I can. I only nod. After that, he grips the stones above him and begins to pull himself up. I can't follow. I can't even call after him without the risk of alerting the guards. Better then to look away. It's so strange seeing him like this. After all these years, I have become too accustomed to Oscar following my lead. I should be pleased to see him more assertive, more active in planning for his future. Proud even, as it would demonstrate that my guidance had been all for the best. I was pleased before, when I first realized how he must have outsmarted me in order to purchase that necklace without my knowledge. Why then do I feel so confused? Why does this cell seem more lonely than it was before? I refuse to believe that I am reacting this way solely because his plans now involve actively wooing Princess Cassidy as a bride. We both agreed that was the best course for him. Best for both of us. No, best for all three of us, it would seem. Cassidy is a sweet girl, but wholly at the mercy of her treacherous family. As king, Oscar's kindness and honesty would bring much-needed change to Guelinor, and as a couple, they would surely be able to negate my disgrace, perhaps even offer me an advisory position. Cassidy's sheltered upbringing might leave her lacking in certain aspects of wisdom, and I would be of service to her. Everyone benefits. It is an ideal solution, completely practical. Therefore, the root of my unease must lie somewhere else. Most likely, I am only finding it difficult because Oscar is in some degree of danger while I am trapped and unable to aid him. I am sure that everyone feels that way when someone they have trained or protected goes out into the wild alone. A teacher for a student, one friend for another, a commander for a recruit. Any of those relationships might trigger the same emotions. Nothing to be ashamed of. Here in this cell, there is nothing for me to do but sit and wait and try not to worry. I must be calm and patient and allow time to pass. Thus, for the moment, I remain at loose ends, floating between moments without so much as a deck of cards with which to amuse myself. But that is not so terrible. I still have a window. I think we've already seen this part about how children should be seen and not heard, so I'm going to skip over this just a little bit. Sunlight on leaves, grass in the breeze. Somehow the sight of these sets my mind free to wandering. I could be a rapid, leaping across the hills. I could be an insect with a pretty red and black shield on my back. It is the sunlight again that rouses me in the morning. For those first moments I don't quite remember where I am, and I roll up against the stone wall when trying to get out of bed. Then of course it all comes back to me. Princess Cassidy, the betrayal, Oscar. Where is he now? What is he doing? I'm sure he made it back to our room safely. He's perfectly capable when he tries to be, but then... No point in thinking about it. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do at all. Nothing but wait. I may as well go back to sleep. How often do I get the chance to lie in with my regular occupation? But as I should have expected, it is not quite so easy to convince my body to return to slumber. Instead, I lie awake, staring up at the stone ceiling. I wonder how many blocks there are over my head. I stand and begin to pace a pattern across the stones of my cell. Nothing too energetic, not when I don't have the luxury of being clean afterwards. Still, it wouldn't do to let my body fall completely out of practice. I will defend what needs defending, but I could never become a fighter for hire. I could never kill for coin. That man who tried to murder Cassidy, what was his motivation? He called her an imposter. According to Dolores, there have been rumors about Cassidy being an imposter for many years, but everyone who's actually seen her knows them to be false. The impression she gave was that it was the commoners, kept at a great distance from the sheltered princess, who nurtured such beliefs, and that anyone of noble birth repeating those whispers would be seen as ignorant and ill-bred. If even the palace guards have doubts about her identity. No, that was not a doubt. Prince Caleb was right in that much. That man was a fanatic who intended to die for his cause, whatever that cause may have been. If only we'd been able to question him. It's not my concern, except that it is if Oscar intends to involve himself in Guelenor's affairs. If Princess Cassidy is in danger, and Oscar is close to her, then he is in danger as well. I should have reminded him of that. But there's nothing I can do. I can't reach him. I can only wait and hope that he comes back. After a while, someone brings me food. Bread, a bit of fish, and cold stew. Compared absolutely, it is a better meal than we managed yesterday morning. Still, I would rather be there at the riverside than here, if I had a choice. I wince and cradle my fingers. These mattresses are too thin for pounding. Oscar! I rush to the window. Hi! Pleased to see me? Pleased to see you in one piece. Did you get a message to Cassidy? Yes, but it turns out it wasn't totally needed. Like you said, I'm still an honored guest. That means I still have to attend the anniversary functions. because otherwise it might look like an insult to Osendower. That's good. That shows they're still considering your reputation. So you spoke to her there? We couldn't talk much, of course. Everybody was there. There's no way the guards would let her go off with me now. They might, if she pushed hard enough, but they'd probably come along as well. So what did she have to say? Whose side is she on? I told you, she's a nice girl. She had no idea about what was going on, I mean. She thought it was Dolores in the dungeon, not you. It's a normal thing to think. It would have made more sense. So when she found out what her parents did to you, she wanted to stop the music and march right down here. I told her she should wait until I'd talk to you first. Is that all right? I want you free, but I thought you wouldn't want us to rush and make a mess. You were right, much as I'd like to be out of this cell. My confession and condemnation were public, and the charges attested by the king himself. Demanding my release would be an open challenge to royal authority. It needs something more subtle. Oh, Cassidy's first idea was even worse. She wanted to help you stage a jailbreak. So I could be a criminal and a fugitive? Well, she doesn't have your experience. She only wants to do what's right. At least we know we can trust her, if nothing else. But I'm concerned about you. Both of you. Cassidy is too innocent for this sort of situation. And I? So we have options here. You're getting better, you're too nice, and you have to ask. We're going to say you're getting better. If you'd asked me last week, I would have said yes. And now? I'll still say yes, but I'll hesitate longer. He rolls his eyes at me. Oscar, there's an assassin out there. Maybe more than one. Have you thought about that? Someone wanted Cassidy dead. If there's a plot, it may not be over. She could still be in danger. And as long as you're beside her, so are you. Oh. Do you or she have any idea what the king and his wisdom are doing about the assassin problem? No, I don't know. I should have thought of that. I should have thought of that. I should have thought of it earlier, and I didn't. Don't feel bad. We've both had our share of unexpected events lately. Oscar just shakes his head, ignoring my reassuring smile. I'm supposed to be trying to plan for my future with Cassidy. And my smile goes lopsided. Yes. Well, now you know. Be on your guard. I can't be out there, so you are my only eyes and ears. I need to track the assassin, and I also need to know what the royals are doing, so I don't run into them. Exactly. Guess I'd better go then. He looks up at the wall, gives a faint sigh, and begins to climb. He didn't even say farewell. Of course not. His mind is focused on the task at hand, protecting Princess Cassidy. I can only hope he's up to it. Our princess in the tower needs all the help she can get. As for the woman in the dungeon, what she needs is patience. I don't need a pair of impetuous young heroes rushing to my rescue. I'm not in any danger. They do make a pair, don't they? Oscar and Cassidy, paragons of goodness and virtue. They need me. Or is it the truth that I need? I'm not used to being alone, really alone. I've always belonged to someone. I was my mother's daughter and my sister's shadow. As pathetic as it was, I had a place and a purpose. And then all these years, I have been Oscar's companion. He has been the center of my world. Everything that I do, it's all about him. I don't want to find another position. I want Oscar, and I want to be always together. I want things to go on like they were, even though I know that they can't. I'm just as much of a child as he is, aren't I? I need to plan for my future, with eyes wide open, and not cling to the familiar. Still, it would be a waste of time. It would be a waste to throw away my connection with Oscar solely because it is familiar. He and Cassidy would need someone they can count on. They know they can trust me. It could be the best position I'll ever get. And if that means spending the rest of my life watching him and her together, then so be it. With that thought, I restore my sense of calm. I sit on my bed and I wait, and time passes. Footsteps.
You, on your feet.
What's going on?
You're being summoned.
What? Where? Why?
Summoned, he said. Not released. Keep your mouth shut and come along. Don't give us any trouble.
Us. Too many guards for me to have much chance of escape. I'll have to go along with them. My training has taught me that in a captive situation, biding your time and waiting for a better opportunity can be a mistake. You are already in a weaker position. Any time that you spend to strengthen yourself, your enemies can spend as well and more effectively. Surprise may be the only advantage available. If these men intended to kill me, it would be my obligation to escape at all cost. As things stand, though, with Princess Cassidy alerted to my plight, my only real risk of death should be if I were caught trying to escape. Let's hope that's true and not just a comforting illusion. The guards escort me through the palace, back to the presentation hall. What's going on? There's no one here but the guards and a steward. No, here they come. A bubbling throng of gentility pours through the doors, laughing and gossiping merrily until they catch sight of me, the dangerous traitor. Then they clutch their pearls to their chests in fear, only to be shoved along by those behind them who haven't yet seen what the fuss is about. They weren't expecting to see me, so why have we been brought together? Suddenly, Princess Cassidy steps to the floor, with Oscar close beside her. Lords and ladies of Guelinor, noble guests, and my esteemed parents, I have an announcement to make. Earlier this week, while I walked outside of my palace, I was attacked by an assassin. One of my own guards, or so I thought. There is no doubt in my mind that that man intended to murder me. If the sight of me caused consternation, this news stirs the whole loft. The princess frowns slightly and holds up her hands, demanding silence so that she can continue. My life was only saved by the valiant efforts of one Miss Valois of Osendower. The crowds are still swirling as someone tries to make their way through. Therefore, I hereby pardon her of all crimes and bestow upon her the title of Honorable. At last, King Prydrick fights his way through to the central dais.
Lords and ladies, thank you for your attendance. You are dismissed.
Well, she's certainly done it now. Only the king's voice could have directed so many through such disruption. Friedrich, Paloma, Oscar, Cassidy, and myself are gathered in a small room of the palace, completely circumscribed by guards. Outside, guests in various stages of fury or terror demand answers, only to be turned away. Inside, the king brings his own terror and fury to bear.
Thinking! You have undermined the order of the kingdom for your own whims.
I did no such thing. It was you who did that. Everything you said about Madeline was a lie, and you know it. But I didn't challenge your proclamations. I didn't reveal your lack of honor to our people. You say she's a traitor and a criminal. I say she's pardoned. So there.
You have created pandemonium by inventing the threat of assassination.
I didn't invent anything. It happened exactly like I said it did. He attacked me. Madeline and Caleb saved me.
You did already know that, didn't you, Your Majesty?
From the look on his face, it would seem he didn't. There truly was an assassin. How did you not know that? Didn't they tell you? Oscar, didn't you say anything?
No one asked me. Is there any proof of this tale?
If you don't trust me, or Oscar, or Madeline, or my brother, you can go out and look at the body yourself. Unless someone has moved it by now. A traitor in the guard ranks. This is terrible.
We must send for Caleb. The Orefe girl should be with him.
Why would Dolores be with Caleb?
She has been assigned as his valet.
What? That's ridiculous. Why would you grant her such a position? She should have been in the dungeons, not Madeline.
The royal family owes a debt of honor, the nature of which is not for these ears.
More important than the truth.
Yes, it is.
Those sad words puncture Cassidy's anger. I don't understand. I just wanted to set everything right.
My darling girl, the world can never be set entirely right.
The king dispatches a messenger to bring Caleb and Dolores into this impromptu council.
Enemies against us. If this is true, do you know whose service this assassin was in?
All I know is that he called me an impostor and wanted me dead.
An impostor? Marionites, it must be. Marionite? What does that mean?
There are other possibilities.
And they are even worse. Either way, there is a worm in the ranks. Now that our hand has been tipped, it will be much harder to investigate this man's connections.
If you hadn't been so quick to force your bargains upon us, you could have uncovered the truth long ago. You never even asked me what happened out there. You didn't want to know. I had thought, at least, you would speak to your own son and daughter, but you lied to them as well.
I don't appreciate your tone, young man. You have no idea how much is at stake.
If that's true, Father, then it's because you haven't told us. How much else have you been keeping from me? How about my brother, for one thing? A well-timed arrival. Caleb and Dolores slip into the room. The former page appears confused and displeased at finding herself in such company. Both, for now, choose to remain silent and watch the proceedings.
Everything we have done has been for your safety.
I understand that, but that isn't enough, not compared to the harm that has been done. It is my solemn belief that no one in this room is trying to kill me, not even Dolores. For all that she did, she never hurt me, and she protected me when I was in danger. I can't say that much for anyone outside. So what good does it do to waste your resources causing trouble for any of us? Stop punishing my friends.
There is something to be said for the wisdom of innocence. What's done is done. We must play the cards as they are laid. We have a great deal of work to do here. We must retrieve the traitor's corpse and establish some semblance of control. Prince Oscar, the Honorable Miss Valois, you are free to return to your quarters without guard.
I understand. Come on, Maddie, let's go.
Free. I'm free.
And that is the end of chapter, I'm going to sneeze, hold on, chapter 5D. I'm going to save the game here. I'm going to try to sit, here we go. I'm going to save the game here. And we're going to pick up here in the next Let's Play. There's 2 more chapters. It's chapter 6 and chapter 7, and we'll go through those. And then we should get to see Prince Oscar's happy, good ending. So, thank you so much for watching. This has been a Let's Play of the Royal Trap by Hanako Games, and my name is Anna Mardal, and I appreciate you watching through these with me. Thank you. Bye-bye.